Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to Cafe Rouge. I am Shrek or Mickey. Let's get into it. So, we are going to be loading, there was some issue trying to figure out how to load this game. Apparently this game is pretty laggy, so if we ever come back to a spot and I have to go, okay, that is a great example of how this game is laggy. Sorry. Okay, so, here's where we left off. Chris, well, my bar. Chris, we only open this room during Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and weekends. Here's the dining hall, the main gallery, if you may say so. Oh, there's Errol. As we walked over, the waiter tossed out the tablecloth and was hitting us. Oops, sorry there. Mickey, Errol, Errol, Mickey. Pleasure to meet you. Hello. Errol bowed his head and went back to work. Okay. Anyway, so this game is a little glitchy, so please bear with me. I'm going to try my best with recording it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and yeah, let's get back into it. Errol, he doesn't talk much, but it's really nice once you get to know him. Now, on to the next area. This is the grand performance stage. We have a variety of performances every night. We ask local musicians to come perform at a restaurant every evening. There are times where it's classical music, sometimes opera, but most of the time it's good old jazz. Chris jumped onto the podium and gestured toward the curtain. Prize fabric all the way from the east. Very expensive, so don't ever rip this. I gave a stern nod. As Chris jumped off the stage, I couldn't help but notice a glimmer of gold in the shadows. However, it was far too concealed for me to make out what shape it was. We made our way back to the front lobby area. I think you already know what this is. We only open this area during the day. Aldo makes the best pastries around. He used to be a world-class pastry chef, too. Aldo? The guy with his hair on fire earlier? Oh. And here's the kitchen. You were here last night, so I guess there's nothing more to say. The blonde bitch was tired earlier along with some strangers. Candace, you've been downgraded to a blonde bitch. So, Mickey, this is Candace. The ginger over there is Adeline. Diane isn't here right now, but she was here earlier. How do you do? Hello. And over there in the back is Aldo. The chef waves his hand eagerly. He is, oh my god, he is so fine. Buongiorno, and welcome to my kitchen. Aldo, I'm still not finished with the Christopher. My name is not Aldo. It's Aldebarno Abandoned. Albad what? Same, honestly. Chris bent down to whisper. Just call him Aldo. He'll get used to it. Now, let's not keep the lady waiting. I will teach her the best of the best. Black forest cake. Maybe another time, Aldo. We're not done with the employee training yet. Chris walked over to the other side of the kitchen, and I gladly followed. The chef was pretty weird, but he seemed friendly. So I'm not done with. Let's start with the actual training session. Training? I gulped. Chris, I have something to tell you. What? I don't think I can do waiting. Why not? Don't worry. Nobody will know you're a human once you have red contact lenses. No, it's not that. You see, I have this medical condition thingy where I can't be around blood. Otherwise, I faint and I black out and I just can't stand blood, okay? I looked away, avoiding his glance. This really is the worst possible job I could ever get. How the heck am I supposed to work here at a bloody vampire cafe? Is that so? His tone struck me off. Weird. I was expecting him to be outraged. Well, then you can always work in the kitchen. I'm sure Aldo would love an assistant chef, or pantry chef. Yeah, I'm a pretty good cook. Chris patted my head. Don't worry, kiddo. You'll fit in just fine. A grin crossed his cheeks, and I couldn't help but smile back. Chris? I wanted to ask all day, but where is Antoine? Isn't he, like, the owner and manager here? Chris looked away, disgruntled. Honestly, I don't know what he does. The majority of the time, he's always in his office. For the owner of a prosperous cafe, he sure doesn't do much work around here. And actually, I'm substituting supervision for Damien. Damien? He's away right now, on a business trip. He's Antoine's substitute, who I'm substituting right now. He let out a frustrated sigh. Anyway, you'll meet him soon. And once you go over to Aldo, he'll teach you the knickknacks of the kitchen. My portion of the employee training is over. Chris waved goodbye and made his way out the kitchen door. Aldo? Yes, Fraulein? Fraulein. I think that's how you say that. Not Fraulein. Fraulein. It looks like I'm your assistant. Perfecto, perfecto. Let me teach you the Black Forest. We run low on cakes, you see. He gestured to the ingredients and tools on the counter. Let the cooking begin. Time for the cooking arc. Ow! The stench of salty rust reached my nostrils. Daring to look down, I spotted a deep cut in my finger. The bright wood liquid oozed out of my skin, dripping onto the counter. Oh, crud. By then, everybody left the kitchen. Alone, I looked around for a napkin, or something to wipe the blood off. I should probably clean up the counter while I'm at it, but everyone was in the lobby. What was going on out there? I headed out of the kitchen to the lobby. Everybody was gathered around a person concealed from my view. Did you bring any gifts? Tell us absolutely everything, including the hot ladies. I love it, Aldo. Oh, that's Diane! Oh my god, Diana's mommy. Aldo. But first, Antoine hired a new girl. Not just new, human too. Oh, and who would that be? As everyone... Oh my god. Ah! This game is like perfect for bi panic because it's like hot men, hot women, hot everything. Everybody here is hot. Like, what? As everyone moved away, a young man with long hair like Antoine stepped through. I can't believe Antoine actually hired a human. I'd love to meet. He stopped in his tracks the moment he saw me. As our eyes met, shock overtook him as he took a step back. Damien? Is everything alright? Fear was clear in his eyes as he examined my face. Is this déjà vu? Lizzie. Ah, Damien. Out from the kitchen, Antoine stepped out. He patted my shoulder as he gave Damien a stern look. This is the new girl, Mickey Black. Damien stared. For a long time, that's all he did. At last, he broke into stride and walked up to me. Damien Azarov. Pleasure. His cool tone alarmed me. Keeping my mouth shut, nobody spoke. Come on, everyone, let's not dilly-dally now. Back to work. Damien narrowed his eyes. He finally turned and began walking the other way. Everyone else followed. Damien, now tell us everything. Give us the gifts. Let us see now. What a prick. Don't mind him. He's usually not that bad. Antoine squeezed my shoulder. By the way, are you bleeding? I can smell blood coming from your fingers. Oh yeah, I cut myself. Here, take this Band-Aid, and here's some paper towels I grabbed from the kitchen. He handed me a Band-Aid and a few paper towels. Letting go of my shoulder, he exited through the kitchen door. As I stood there in the Pet City corner, I couldn't help but suspect there was far more secrets hidden beneath. Was there something nobody dared telling me? I really didn't know. Oh man. Also, I'm sorry if the voices change. I am not a voice actor. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my hardest. Shit happens, you know? So if voices change up a lot, I apologize. If this game will load. Also, I apologize for the vacuum going on right now. Gotta make the house clean, besties. Where am I? That was the question I asked myself repeatedly. Somehow, I knew the answer. I was dead. Yes, dead as the doorknob. Oh, wait a minute. What the heck am I talking about? I'm not dead. I'm not dead at all. I'm a fresh, young, sweet 16 high school junior. I can't be dead. This is getting weird. Oh gosh, this is like one of those movies where you see light and hear a voice from far away. Don't go toward the light. Why is this happening to me? Are you even listening? Yeah, what is it? Here, this is for you. Oh, what is this? A hand reached out to me holding a golden pendant. This is for me? Yes, silly. I looked down and took the golden pendant. It was a thin plate of gold shaped like a harp. Inscribed in small letters, the initials EB were carved in behind. Are these my... Yes, your initials. Of course, this is a memory. Or a flashback to my life before I die. I don't know. My best friend in the whole wide world. He gave this to me. My precious harp necklace that I always wore. He gave me this as a present. He did. No. Who is he? Why can't I see his face? Dear? The bright light faded away and the stale walls of the nurse's office greeted me. Goodness, you're finally awake. The woman was next to me, holding my palm and checking for my pulse. Reaching out my arms, I lifted myself up on the bed. How long was I out? For a while. The usual. Staring at the ceiling, I searched for the clock. Dang, school's not even halfway over. I think I'll be fine the rest of the day. Are you sure, honey? With a nod in my head, I get out of bed. The next class should be starting soon, and I needed to head to my locker. Hey, Val. No surprise, Valens was there in my locker again. What took you so long? We chatted as I opened my locker, getting my books and binders for my next class. Then it suddenly occurred to me. While I was hospitalized, Valens gave me this necklace, my heart pendant. It was a gift for him for finally being discharged from the hospital. Yet, why couldn't I see his face in those dreams? My hands immediately reached my collarbone, clutching my precious treasure. Mr. Michaels! Walking towards us was Mr. Davidson. In his hands were a couple sheets of paper. Hi, Mr. Davidson. Is there a problem? Yes, Tino. Tino? I wanted to speak to you about your test results. Oh, his full name is Valentino. Oh! Well, that's awkward. I didn't realize that. Valen's face immediately flushed red. Oh no, Mr. Davidson doesn't know. Mr. Davidson, he doesn't really like to be called Tino. Oh, then would you rather be called Valentino? Valen's face turned bright red. Tears leaked out from his eye sockets and he began shaking. Oh my god, that is rough. I immediately stepped in between. Mr. Davidson, he really prefers not to be called by his full name. Valen's what he usually goes by. Without any warning, Valen dashed and ran the other direction. Val, wait. He turned around the corner. The poor guy. I guess an apology won't do now. I gave out a big sigh. This always happens. Poor Val. Anyway, Miss Black, you forgot to take your form for the Georgia field trip. Field trip? Yes, the history department is planning their annual trip for the juniors. Didn't you know? Oh, that's right. The annual history trip to Georgia. It's a week-long trip juniors take all the way down to the south to visit old mansions and cotton plantations and another old Georgia monuments during the Civil War. Here's the form. We just need a check and a signature from your parents. I took the sheet of paper in my hands. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I should go. I don't think I can go. I have a part-time job, so I'd have to make it up if I take the trip. I handed the sheet back to Mr. Davidson. He looked down and took the sheet back swiftly. All right then, Mickey. I'll have to give you the makeup essay instead. Taking a turn, he left the hall. I should go find Val. It should be here somewhere, right? I guess what I'm just confused about is how did she get back to the school from the cafe? Like, she passed out in the cafe. Entering the empty classroom, I shut the door behind me. Val didn't even bother looking up. He was crouched on the desk, his face in his knees. Hey, Val, come on. Bell's gonna ring soon. He continued to sulk, doing nothing. Okay, this is getting a little annoying. Crossing my arms, I narrowed my eyes and tapped my foot. Why did my mother have to name me Valentino? What? It's like I'm named after some male stripper my mom met on the night of her bachelorette party. Oh, man. Oh, come on, Val. You were born on Valentine's Day. Didn't that come up at all? Val only continued to sulk, acting all gloomy. It was very quiet, but I could hear his muttering. Val, just think of this like a positive thing. You're named after a symbol of love, and many people would fall in love with a beautiful name like that. So, are you saying you like my name? His question got me off guard. Looking down and away, now I was the embarrassed one. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, gosh, lately Val's been bringing up such awkward, embarrassing questions. What's up with him? Let's tell him the truth. Well, your name suits you since you have a lot of secret admirers. The other day, 2 girls came up to me asking about you. My heart felt a pang of uneasiness. I didn't like the idea of those other girls, or any girls with Valen. So, you like my name, then? Do you also like... Valen turned his head away, but I saw him blushing with a face full of red. Maybe we should both head to class. Alright. Valen punched my shoulder playfully. Thanks, you made me sound sexy. I had restrained my laugh. Val's so weird sometimes. Getting up, we left the classroom together. Time to go to work. It was another usual day. Everybody's cleaning up and setting up things up while I closed the door behind me. With nothing to do, I headed inside the kitchen. Bonjour, mademoiselle. Ready for today's menu? We've got a lot to prepare. I'm always in the kitchen. Maybe a change of scenery will do me good. Come back later, Aldo. I should really go back out and help the others. I closed the kitchen door behind me. I don't know if it's my PC or what is taking a little time to load. I should go ask everyone if they need me. Let's see, who needs my help? I think Chris needs my help. After skipping over to him, I waved my hands eagerly. Hey Chris, what's up? Nothing much, just polishing these glasses. Can I help? Yeah, sure, there's a couple of towels over there. Why don't you take one and help wipe all these glasses? Make sure the wine residue at the bottom of the glass is wiped clean. Don't you want to... There's wine residue. Don't you want to, like, clean those? Like, hand wash them? Guess. He gestured towards a row of empty wine glasses. Chris, I was wondering, how old are you? I thought you'd ask sooner or later. I'm pretty old in human standards. 176 to be exact. What the... Wow. That's surprising. Chris is so carefree and friendly. I thought he'd be like Candace, a sour, senile personality. I wasn't born here. I came from the old world. Good old Britain. Then I immigrated here because, well, the Great War wasn't really my thing. The Great War? It's what we call World War I. Then World War II started, but by then I'd already left. He laughed half-heartedly, and we conversed quietly for a while. In the middle of polishing one glass, I stopped. Chris? Yeah? You never did tell me, can humans be turned into vampires? The next reaction was very unanticipated. Chris' hand stopped in midair, holding the glass. He gave me a strange look, like he was mad. Why do you want to know? Well, it might be another myth or something, right? That a vampire's bite could, turn somebody into a vampire or something. I don't want to turn into one, so... Smiling, he ruffled my hair and let out a chuckle. Don't worry, kiddo. If that's what you're worried about, you definitely won't be turning into a bloodsucker. Putting down the towel, Chris thanked me and let me be on my way. Walking off, I couldn't help but notice how carefully he avoided my question. Let's see. Who needs my help? Diane needs my help, because she's mommy. Hi, Diane. Can I help? Stop right there. I almost tripped, stopping my tracks. I looked down. Banana peels were all over the floor. What's going on here? Diane, why are there... Damien... I'm sorry? Don't even ask. Damien always does this purposely to cause trouble. Wait, but I thought he's the manager here. Of course, but you can't expect him to boss us all the time, can you? That's why everybody likes him. He can be cold and strict, but he's also got a good sense of humor that we all appreciate. He's able to keep the atmosphere lively and fun, but at the same time professional. That's why Antoine gave him this position. Bending down, I helped Diane pick up some peels and toss them in the trash. When everything was cleaned up, I went on my way. Let's see, who needs my help? We'll do Candace. What do you want? Nothing. I was just wondering if you need my help or something. I'm having trouble reaching that bulb there. Can you get it for me? Yeah, sure, no problem. Hopefully if I help Candace, she won't be so cold to me anymore. Stepping on my tippy toes, I reached up to the broken bulb and handed it to the blonde. So, anyway, how old are you, since you're a vampire and all? What's wrong with you? And the lady never tells her real age. Oh, my bad. Sorry if I was being rude. I was just curious. Candace sighed and turned her head towards me. I was born in the 1920s. Wall Street crash, Great Depression, and all. Oh, wow. And your parents were vampires then? How did you guys survive the Depression then? Suddenly her face soured. Did I say something I shouldn't have? I guess I'll go help the others then. I walked away briskly. Candace didn't even say thanks. Let's see, who needs my help? Adeline. Hi again, Adeline. Oh, hello, dear. The redhead continued to set the tables while I stood there awkwardly. Can I help you with anything? Not really. No, you can't help me. Oh, okay. Adeline's face suddenly changed as she realized something. What I meant to say is thank you for the offer, dear, but this isn't something that needs an extra pair of hands. It would be more troublesome if another person tried to help me. I'm really sorry if I sounded rude. Forgive my blunt language. I have no manners when it comes to dealing with social courtesies. Oh, no, I didn't think you were being rude at all. I'm not offended. I was actually curious. Are you Scottish by any chance? You have really red hair. I mean, you don't even have a Scottish accent. Don't know if I assumed too much. Adeline laughed. My last story isn't that interesting, Mickey. My parents are vampire immigrants from the old world, but I'm a mixture of European blood, not anything out of the ordinary. And no, I'm more Irish than Scottish. Turning her back to me, she said no more. You're welcome. I walked away. Adeline had an interesting personality. Maybe she didn't have as much social graces as others, but she was friendly, which I am really glad I could get to know her more. Some of the wording in this is kind of weird. Hopefully we can become friends. Let's see, who needs my help? Errol. Hey, Errol. He nodded his head and didn't say anything else. Weather's nice today, isn't it? He really doesn't say much, does he? If you want help, you could help me with these invoices. Invoices? Yeah, invoices. I'm the bookkeeper and accountant for Cafe Rouge. He held up a stack of papers and put them in my hands. Oh gosh, sure, I have the. Errol, I'm not really good with handling paperwork, especially money stuff. Oh, I was just hoping you could bring them up to Antoine's office. Oh, sure then, no problem. Without any warning, my foot slipped on a banana peel. Falling with a thud, the papers flew everywhere. What the? Gosh, the floor was scattered with paperwork. I didn't dare turn back to see Errol's face. Sorry, Errol. I'll just go. Getting up, I ran off, never turning my back. Let's see, who needs my help? We are done asking for people. With nothing else to do, I picked up my belongings and got ready to head home. I was just about to leave the dining hall when Chris came up to me. Mickey, are you heading off now? Yeah, I'm pretty much done for the day. I never do the night shifts when, all the other customers, the night ones come. Yeah, us blood-sucking vampires in the night. We both laughed at my insecurity. I don't know if that's an insecurity. It's more of like a fear, if anything. I was actually wondering, do you want to have tea and chat for a while? We could catch up on things. I mean, we barely know each other apart from work. Sure. Okay. Do I have to pay for that tea? No, it's fine. We work here. I'm sure just taking a cup or two won't hurt. Sitting down at the dining room table, I waited. Chris came back with a teapot and 2 teacups. He swiftly poured out the tea and nudged my cup over. Here, I made this tea blend myself. It's a mix of Pico and double bergamot Earl Grey. I have no idea what those were, but I took a sip anyway. Yep, the aroma was very fragrant, as always. Are you sure you want to work in the kitchen all the time? I mean, if you wore a pair of red contact lenses, no one would notice you're human. Oh, I don't know. My medical condition doesn't let me near blood, even though I've gotten used to it in the kitchen. It's still hard for me, but who knows? Maybe. I poured myself another cup. I wanted to ask Chris some more questions about vampires, but he'd probably just laugh at me. Still, he hasn't answered the most important question yet. Chris, tell me more about vampires. Are there a lot of you? A sigh escaped from his lips. Ugh, where should I start, then? You know how the Mafia works, right? Yeah? Well, it's a little bit like that. You see, there are many families of vampires. There are many families and vampire covens. In the old world, the ordinary people caught on early to our race. Back then, it wasn't as easy to hide ourselves, because eventually years passed and we aged slower than humans. While we stayed in our middle age, the ordinary were dying of old age. We had apparently sold our souls to the devil to have eternal youth and immortality. But they were right to suspect us. It was hard times back then. Sometimes we just couldn't control ourselves. Sometimes we needed to kill someone because, well, we couldn't let ourselves starve to death. We needed food and water and blood to live. I shivered in my seat. How could he talk about killing someone so easily? He continued, not noticing my reaction. When we came here, at least the more civilized vampires, we learned to control ourselves and to live in groups. We were in the new world with new opportunities, a new life, and we became Americans. And living the American dream, our parents were moved continuously to avoid superstition, or we lived in vampire communities with no ordinary people. As long as we had enough blood in our systems, whether it be from an ordinary human or drinking from a family member, we didn't starve. The little history lesson was fascinating. I've always thought of vampires as blood-sucking monsters, but to hear their troubles in such a good way brought a new light on the subject. It was intriguing. You said you drink blood from family ordinary humans. What if a vampire married somebody human? Would their kids be... They'd be all vampires. Our genes are very dominant. And we usually never drink from an ordinary human because, well, it's against the vampire code to get them involved. Sometimes we accidentally drink too much. That's why in society we either purchase blood or drink from family, or the other exception. Other exception? He chuckled at my confusion. Lovers. It's an exchange of body fluids other than the most obvious ones. Scientifically speaking, exchanging blood can sustain our partner with our blood who can help us make offsprings. Oh, so it's kind of like sex. I wonder how much pregnant vampire women would drink then. Oh, I see. Looking down at my phone, it was 8:15. Dang, I should really get home. Thanks for the tea, Chris, but I gotta go now. I have lots of work for tonight. Saying goodbye, I took my belongings and left. It's time to go home. Ah. Time to go to school. A whole week passed. Valen hasn't been to school for the past 4 days. He didn't go on the field trip, did he? Or if he did, why didn't he tell me? With no time to spare, I gathered my books from my locker and headed to class. The school day flew by like a breeze. It was time to head to work, as usual. Upon opening the skylight door, I was surprised to find myself in an empty room. Oh my gosh, where is everyone? Now I'm yawning. Can't stop yawning. Can't stop, won't stop. Making my way to the dining hall, everybody was all over the place. What was going on? Oh, Mickey, glad you're here. We're really super busy with the big catering tonight. Big what? Catering? Yes, tonight the whole cafe will be hosting a big dinner party. It's a very distinguished vampire coven family. Candace walked up to us. Dear, why don't you head to the kitchen? Aldo needs a lot of help tonight, for everything. Also, you should put on your uniform before you head inside next time. Oh, sure. We need the appetizers done later, otherwise you're not going to have time for dessert, or... Upon opening the kitchen door, Damien's attention abruptly turned to me. There's a short moment of silence, and then he left. Afternoon, Alda. Zdravstvuyte to Miss Mickey. I'm sorry that I butchered that. We are very busy tonight. There are ingredients on that table. Phew, that was hard. I could hear the guests arrive outside the kitchen door. Everything was so chaotic, but I had to take a peek. I sneaked outside the kitchen room door into the lobby. Some more wine, ma'am. Thank you, sir. It was crowded. I could barely see anyone. I made my way to the dining hall. Just as expected, it was crowded. I carried a tray holding a glass of champagne. Nobody's noticing I'm human. Congrats on the golden 1,000. Your daughter must be so proud to be the only family with her grandfather left living. Oh, there's Suzanne now. And her son. The Michaels there. The voices began to fade away, but I had to hear more. I could have sworn they said Michaels. A pleasure to finally meet you, Valentino. Did they just say... People continued to crowd over one particular table. Squeezing through the crowd, I saw the center of attention. A boy with pink hair and red-hued eyes, dressed in a comely black suit, was greeting other vampires. I couldn't believe my eyes. Please, Valens is fine. Only my mother insists on my full name. My mind blinked. It couldn't be true, but it was Valen in the flesh. My best friend, this whole time. Valen is a vampire. A boy with pink hair and red-hued eyes. Dressed in the comely black tux, holding a glass of blood, he was shaking hands, greeting other vampires. I couldn't believe my eyes. Valen is a vampire. My mind blank. Okay, I don't really think they needed to do that little recap. Yeah, that's just my opinion. A million thoughts passed through my head as I stood there like some frozen duck. At the same moment, I felt someone tap on my shoulder. Miss, excuse me, can I please get through? Sorry. At the sound of my voice, Valen turned his head. The glass of blood slipped from his fingers, shattering into a million pieces on the carpet floor. Her eyes locked into place. Oh, Mr. Michaels, your glass. Mr. Michaels? I retreated. Disappearing through the crowd of vampires, I covered my eyes, hiding my green pupils from the numerous red. To my dismay, Valen followed me. Sorry, excuse me. Pushing his way through the crowd, he didn't lose sight of me, not even once. Wait, miss, excuse me. Why are these people so slow? The crowd of people was hard to push through. Which way should I go? Let's go to the pastry room. Oi, watch where you're going. Sorry. Just when I was about to reach the kitchen door, a hand caught my shoulder. Mickey, is that you? With a little force, I shook off his hand quickly. Darting the other direction, I had no choice but to go out the door. With nowhere to run, I exited through the scarlet door. The streetlight glowed daunting orange. In no time, Valen found me, and he stepped out of the same scarlet door into the night. I turned my back to him. Mickey, is that really you? There's a long silence and no one spoke. You should go back to the dinner party, Mr. Michaels. Come on, Mickey, don't give me that. And why shouldn't I? Facing him now, I glared into those red-hued eyes. Those deceiving eyes I foolishly trusted for all my life. Why didn't you ever tell me? You never told me you worked at a vampire cafe. That's because I was trying to protect you. Protect you from these blood-sucking monsters. Valen winced, hurt stabbing his features. He looked down, face-stricken with pain. Can you... please just hear me out. Please, let me explain. Glancing behind to look at him, I didn't know what to say. Silence only accompanied us as the night prolonged, and I didn't want to stay one more second with him. If you excuse me, Mr. Michaels, I must get back to work. Mickey, please, hear me out. He grabbed my hand and pulled me towards him. I struggled to pull away, but his grip was strong. Mr. Michaels, please let go of my hand. No. The blood rushed up to my head. He could probably see it. My heart was pounding, waiting for him to speak. Valens sighed and tugged on my fingers. Mickey, you know how I'm a coward. And you know how frightened I am with you. I meant to tell you, I really did, but what if you hated me? And even if you didn't care, what if I wasn't careful and I accidentally... He looked down, clenching his teeth. For the first time, I could see the glint of his sharp fangs biting down on his lips. I blinked a few times. No, I can't be distracted by him. This is not the time to be thinking with that thing in my chest. I need to think with my head. I'm sorry, Val. His grip softened as I pulled my hand back. Looking back, his face was grief-stricken, and the horrible ache weighed on my chest. But I resisted. You should head back now. Okay. As we both stepped back inside, we refused to meet each other's eyes. He probably felt more pain than I did. Before I could step back inside this kitchen doors, a tall woman strode up to us. Valentino Michaels, how many times do I have to tell you not to... Wow. Wow. What a MILF. Oh my god. Hi, mommy? Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Would you like some coffee with some breast milk? I mean milk? Because, oh my god, she is fine. Valentino's mother took a double step back. Her mouth gaped open in shock, but after blinking her eyes a few times, she smiled. Vicky, darling, what are you doing here? Are you... She glanced at me up and down. Mrs. Michaels, Valens' mom, is a famed politician of the left wing. Now running for senator in Massachusetts, Mrs. Michaels has gained much leverage and political power in New England. Despite all the political pizzazz, I know her best as Valens' mom. Which meant that this whole time she was a vampire too, so why the heck would she associate her son with a human girl like me? I didn't know you worked here. Are you a part-timer? You must be a barista, aren't you? Valen, honey, how come you never told me she worked at this cafe? Mrs. Michaels narrowed her eyes, pointing an accusing look at her son. Yes, I never told him because I didn't want him to get involved with the people I worked with, but now... Valen and I exchanged awkward glances, but Miss Michaels just laughed. Oh, whatever do you mean, darling? Say, when was the last time you came for a little visit, darling? I'm sure Valen would love you to come over for a little hangout together. Valen and I looked over at each other. I felt too awkward not to pay a visit, but I didn't want to be impolite. Sure. Oh, all right. Perfect. You know our address, right? How could she not know your address? Like, y'all are best friends. What? I nodded my head. Now, if you excuse me, I should be getting back to the dinner party. Like an old granny, she reached out to pinch my cheeks until they turned red. I'll see you tomorrow, darling. Patting my head, Valens' mother strutted off back into the crowd. Are you sure you want to come over tomorrow? I looked over to Valen. Maybe this wasn't the right time, but I did want to see him. It's been a week since I've seen Valen, and there was a longing in my chest still unfulfilled. I missed you. Valen smiled. I missed you more. Our gazes were locked with each other's. A moment later, Valen returned to his dinner party while I left through the kitchen door. Alright. So we're going to go to save. And we are going to save. I think this is a great time to stop for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!